21 years since I left there. I don't know anybody.
No, he was talking about when he took
Old timers. Yeah. Have you read his dad's book, Butcher Baker? Yeah, it's a fast read. It's pretty thin.
a lot of work and things.
Yeah, he was one of the ones that came in to visit me all the time. We had lots of fun talks. I saw Henniger. No, I saw a couple other APD people out there too at the show. One of them had a booth. Trying to remember what his name was. No, he wasn't up there. I didn't see him. If he was there, I didn't see him, and I was sitting right where people were walking past both directions. Yeah, this guy was a sergeant too.
I gotta go see what everybody's up to.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brain's not. I don't remember things as well as I used to.
Well, do what you can, but you do better. And the funny thing is, you don't sleep longer today either. You get up at the same time, so like all the time. Right?
Yeah, no, I don't have this problem. Crazy.
I have a cat
that we did
that has a railing that jumps over.
email.
It's quite a distance. 4:30 and
Kind of secluded.
it's like, thanks for the pre-wake up.
Yeah.
He says,
But she doesn't use a litter box. She always looks like
Jennifer. Jennifer.
that's pretty early. 5:30.
yeah, pretty neat. Yeah, it's steep. You know, it's quite a big old buttes out there.
Yeah. And one day, believe it or not, they grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did last week back on back or so. They're, yeah, they're gonna, I guess, so either a stoplight is going there.
Like probably would have started.
Yeah.
We get it way off. Off whack on the streets there.
Around. Yeah, they got that big subdivision, it'll turn the end out left, so there's a huge subdivision, so. So, yeah. Well, nothing's happened yet, but that subdivision is.
When's our next meeting after this one?
Sunrise Trail.
When's our next meeting after this one?
June 2nd.
June 2nd? Oh, for how long?
And then if you oh my God. Then you go to the end of the month.
Oh, that sounds right. If you do the math. 14 plus 7 is 21.
There you go. And then no meetings in September.
Yeah, well,
None?
I can't.
The May 19th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting to order at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Commissioner Glenn,
Here.
Commissioner Allen,
Here.
Commissioner Collins let me know he would not be able to make it tonight. Commissioner McCabe,
Here.
Commissioner Fernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Scoggin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And moving on to the approval of the agenda, are there any additions or changes to the agenda at this time? Are there any objections to the approval of the agenda as written? All right, hearing and seeing none, the agenda is approved. Commissioner Scoggin, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're moving right along to the consent agenda. We have the regular meeting minutes from May 5th, 2025. Introduction for public hearing on quasi-judicial matters. We have Resolution 25-08. A conditional use permit in accordance with MSB 17.60. Conditional uses for the operation of a marijuana retail facility known as Magic Flower, located at 8874 West Business Park Drive, tax ID 3209B08L006. Applicant is Igor Isipov for Magic Flower. Staff will be Rick Benedict, current planner. Introduction for public hearing legislative matters. There are no legislative introductions. Are there any objection to the approval of the written or the consent agenda as written? All right, hearing and seeing none, the consent agenda is approved. At this time, we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing for, the audience participation. If there's anyone on the phone who would like to speak about anything that is not on the agenda today for public hearing, please press *3. Again, if there's anybody on the phones, just press *3 to speak on any item not on the agenda today. Are there any persons in the audience? Good. Okay. Seeing and hearing that there are no other persons to be heard, is there any objection to closing the public hearing? Hearing and seeing none, public hearing is closed. There are no quasi-judicial public hearings today, so we'll move right along to the legislative matters. Excuse me. We have Resolution 25-09, a resolution of the Matanuska-Susitna Borough Planning Commission recommending approval of an ordinance modifying the intent, notification, and appeal process for MSB 17.05, Essential Service Utilities. Staff is Alex Strawn, Planning and Land Use Director. Mr. Strawn?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Planning Commission. Once again, Alex Strawn, Planning Director for the Borough. This ordinance is brought to you at the request of Assembly Members Gamble and Hale. It is a modification of MSB 17.05, which was originally adopted in 2007. And it essentially creates a public process for larger utilities, such as large power lines or large gas lines. And it doesn't really have standards other than there has to be a public process. And a little over a year ago, staff was asked to bring forward legislation that would add real, actual standards as far as like, prevention of trespassing and site impacts and things like that. That ordinance did not pass. However, it was requested that there be some changes made to this ordinance, and so this adds an additional public meeting. It clarifies the intent of the ordinance. It cleans up the notification requirements a little bit, and most importantly, adds an appeal process to the code. And so there has to be something to appeal, so it also adds sort of a permitting process. So once a utility company goes through the entire public process and they take all the public input, then they provide a document to the planning director, essentially describing what they've heard and what they plan on doing, and the planning director will then make a decision as to whether they properly went through the notification process, and that decision would be appealable to the Board of Adjustments and Appeals. And that's in a nutshell what this does. It's been referred to the Planning Commission by the Assembly, so your recommendation will go forward to them after this evening. So,
Are there any questions for Mr. Strawn?
Commissioner McCabe, do you remember what the vote was on it by the Assembly?
the ordinance last April that had standards, I do not recall what the vote was.
So this is since then, these are additions. Who made the additions?
So after that last ordinance failed, then Assembly members Hale and Gamble requested that these changes be brought forward.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for staff? All right, thank you, Mr. Strawn. At this time, we'd like to open the public hearing for public testimony on Resolution 25-09. I'll say this message and then we'll go to the audience here in the room first. But if there is anyone on the phone that would like to speak to this resolution, please press *3 to give us that heads up. And then please, if there's anyone in the audience today, it looks like we have Jen Castro.
All right. Good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Jennifer Castro, and I'm here on behalf of Matanuska Electric Association. MEA is here in support of Resolution 25-09 to recommend approval of Assembly Ordinance 25-50, which would modify the intent, notification, and appeal process outlined in MSB 1705 for essential service utilities. These proposed amendments reflect a collaborative effort to improve public participation while also streamlining procedures that impact the timely and efficient installation of critical utility infrastructure. We believe this is a balanced approach that benefits residents, property owners, and our co-op members and helps us continue delivering safe, reliable electric service across the Mat-Su. We also want to just take a moment to thank the community and MEA members and local residents whose thoughtful input helped shape these proposed updates to this ordinance. And specifically, I just wanted to acknowledge Amber McDonough and thank her for coming back to the table and working on with us to find some middle ground, as well as Alex Strawn. He's always just been a great resource and guide of information on helping us improve this ordinance that impacts our utility, but also all of our co-op members that receive electric service. Their voices were vital in developing a solution that supports both public engagement and the long-term goals of the borough's comprehensive plan. And so we just appreciate your thoughtful consideration and encourage the Planning Commission's support in moving this ordinance forward. So thank you so much for your continued partnership and time.
Thank you, Ms. Castro. Then Amber, would you like to?
Greetings, Commissioners. I'm Amber McDonough, and I support Resolution 2509 to amend Code 1705 for essential service utilities. A different resolution seeking to modify this code came before the Planning Commission in August of 2023. It failed at that time because it was seen as borough overreach, and it was not supported by local utilities who saw it as one more hurdle to their already challenging infrastructure development in Alaska. After the Borough Assembly similarly tabled the companion ordinance 2380, concerned groups went back to the drawing board. The new resolution that is being heard for your consideration tonight is a completely different animal. It is the result of a multi-year collaboration that includes representatives from Matanuska Electric Association and local residents. The resulting ordinance 2550 maintains most of the original 1705 code language, but with targeted improvements acceptable to both utility, industry, and the public. As written, it accomplishes three core objectives. It modernizes the outreach process utilities implement to ensure multiple opportunities for public notification with an extended comment period. Secondly, it adds a section in the utilities decisional document to describe its process for addressing negative impacts to residents with reasonable and feasible mitigation measures. Lastly, it improves the appeals process for affected residents, who now will be able to utilize the borough's Board of Adjustment and Appeals instead of a code-mandated, utility-appointed appeals committee. This ordinance is jointly sponsored by Assemblyman Bill Gamble and Tim Hale, and I encourage commissioners to unanimously approve 2509 as well. These changes to 1705 will be good for Valley residents and good for the utilities that serve them. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to double check, did we have anybody on the phones? Okay. Seeing and hearing no other persons to be heard, is there any objection to closing the public hearing? All right, hearing and seeing none, public hearing is closed on resolution 25-09. I will now entertain a motion for resolution 25-09.
Commissioner McCabe, I will move 25-09.
And Commissioner Glenn, I'll second that.
Beautiful. So Commissioner McCabe made the motion and it was seconded by Commissioner Glenn. Is there any discussion at this time? Yes, go ahead.
I have a question for Alex. Did the other utilities, N-Star and MTA, have any thoughts? It's nice. I'm glad MEA is here tonight, but just was curious.
They have not weighed in. I did talk to somebody from N-Star letting them know this was happening, but they have not weighed in on it.
Is there any other discussion? Is there any objection to the unanimous approval of this resolution? All right. Hearing and seeing all confirmation, the resolution 25-09 is approved. Moving right along, folks. Going right down to commissioner business. I don't see any upcoming planning commission agenda items. So we'll go straight to director and commissioner comments. Commissioner Scoggin?
I have no comment.
Commissioner McCabe? Commissioner Glenn?
No comment.
Commissioner Allen?
No comment, thank you.
Mr. Strawn? Wait.
Thank you, I do have a comment. I'd like to recognize Planning Department staff Tawny Boothby. She's our current planner and Borough Floodplain Administrator. Tawny has completed 20 years as a certified floodplain manager and is currently downstates attending the annual floodplain conference. She's being nationally recognized for her 20 years of dedicated service. We're very fortunate to have such an experienced and committed professional on our team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Long. All right, and my comments are just thank you for attending. Always thank you for participating in public testimony. It's a very big part of what we do. And so hearing your voices is really important. And at this time, I call the meeting adjourned at 6:13 p.m.
The conference has ended. You will now be disconnected. Goodbye.